Hi there, my name is Mike Munter, and just wanted to share my theory on how to change Google-related searches, which you probably know appear at the bottom of search results for a keyword when you perform a search in Google. In this screenshot here, I have Googled ABC Electric as an example, and you can see that at the bottom, these 8 suggestions appear as related searches. So my theory on how to change Google related searches is that related searches is simply what it implies, that it's searches that that occur sequentially, one after the other. So if you were to search for ABC Electric and then maybe make a more refined search after that for ABC Electric School or ABC Electric Company, that would constitute a related search. And I believe that that is what populates this area here. So in order to do this, we need to create natural looking search activity for Google by distributing these searches, these sequential searches, to people throughout the United States on using real computers, performing real searches, and locking those searches down based on our direction. And then we need to create enough sustained activity over several months for Google to recognize that, oh, this is a pattern. These searches are more relevant to ABC Electric than the ones that we're currently showing. So how do we do that? Well, what we do is we use Excel to manage and send spreadsheets to all the people that we hire in our private network. And what we do is we create 3 batches. And these batches are simply keyword followed by keyword plus suggestion. That's batch number 1. Batch 2 is keyword followed by a couple of keyword suggestion searches. And then batch 3 is keyword plus suggestion repeated. And so an example of this would be ABC Electric and then ABC Electric Facebook. That would be batch 1, that would be an example. Batch 2 would be ABC Electric, and then you can see locations or careers. And then batch 3 would be keyword plus suggestion, so it's ABC Electric Twitter, ABC Electric website. So what our program is going to do is it's going to randomly choose to do either batch 1, batch 2, or batch 3, and assign that to an individual to search in one day. It will also randomly pull the keyword plus suggestion from our list of keyword suggestions that you would approve. So there'd be more than just these 5 that you see here. There might be LinkedIn, hours of operation, etc. Okay, so I already touched on our Excel programming. So we're going to have, in fact, we're going to shoot for just 10 suggestions. Obviously, if we do more suggestions, it'd probably be a little better. But I think that you're going to see that the costs get pretty expensive pretty quick. So we'll try for 10 suggestions. And of course, there are only 8 at the bottom of related searches. So 10 gives us a little bit room for margin for error. So people are only going to be allowed to search 1 batch per day. And this is really important. Historically, when we've given search lists to people, we have seen it affect related searches as a fluke, quite honestly. But the problem is that when we give people long lists of 50, 100, 200 terms, and we ask them to search, 10, 15, 20 terms a day, what starts to happen is we start to create a footprint because the terms are sort of overlapping. Even though they're matched up, they're overlapping from one client to the next. Now, we've since deviated from that, and we're mixing in more throwaway terms now so that we don't leave a footprint. That speaks to Google Autocomplete, which is a totally separate video, which I'll link to. But anyway, back to related searches. We want people to perform searches of 1 batch per day because this looks natural. So a complete batch is going to be selected at random. from one of the three that I described above. So someone would either get a batch that looks like this, a batch that looks like this, or a batch that looks like this, and that's what they would search that day. The batches would include other clients. So one day they might have your company plus suggestion. The next day, that person might get another company or individual plus a couple of suggestions. And this is how we obviously build some volume so that we can pay our workers and keep them busy. Now, one other thing is that the batches are going to include throwaway searches, and we have a huge list of over 6,000 throwaway searches we plan to integrate, so that again it's completely random and we're not leaving a footprint. So these throwaway searches would appear before and after the batch, so that we're not getting in the way of the sequential searches that I feel we need to create in order to affect the Google-related searches. Here you can see a couple examples: Britney Spears tour, how to tie a tie. These are completely randomized searches. And as I mentioned, this helps to not leave any kind of footprint. We're trying to create something that might occur naturally to the best of our ability. And one thing I do want to point out is in our Excel programming, which is going on right now, we're going to set this up so that a person will have like a list of 20 to 30 days worth of searches on their spreadsheet they receive. And they will only be allowed to perform one batch a day. So that batch might consist of anywhere from 3 to 5 searches. They're only allowed to do one batch per day. That's going to be programmed in. And that's going to be perfect for limiting, so that we don't have people doing all the keywords in one day, which would really help to leave more of a footprint. We don't want to do that. Okay, so let's get into the costs. First of all, what I've found is that the cost of recruiting workers can run anywhere from $5 to $10 for an active worker. Sometimes we recruit people and then they flake on us. We're using various methods to recruit people. One of them is as simple as posting ads on Craigslist. And of course, I've got to pay someone. I try to do this as cheaply as possible. We usually have someone overseas that will pay $4 an hour to post ads in various cities around the country on Craigslist. And we use other methods. There are other websites too that we advertise on that are generating leads for us, for people to sign up for the work. Okay, cost to pay workers. This is my estimate based on my experience. For our autocomplete work, people are earning anywhere from $1.50 or more per day. And in order to achieve that same level, I think that we need to be at about 50 cents per search. And then the cost to pay my assistant, I corrected this down below. I think we can get away. I think I can pay her $150 would be the minimum to run a single campaign for a client. Okay, so let's sort of extrapolate this out. And then the incentive, if we're successful, I would like to receive a bonus. And then we should discuss maintenance costs to sustain this activity after it's fixed. And that will be completely at your option if you elected to do that. Okay, so a sample campaign then. If we had the minimum of the 10 positive keywords, the volume, let's say that we needed 100 completed searches for each keyword. And this would, again, this could be lower, it could be higher. It depends on your particular case. If your negative suggestion that we want to push out has between 70 and 100 searches, then we want to try to come up with 100 searches for 10 positive keyword suggestions, so that we're in the ballpark and we're signaling to Google that, hey, these searches are as important, if not more important, than the ones that you're already showing. So please start showing the ones that we're searching. Okay, so that gets us to a total of 1,000 positive searches that we need to create for you. And if you remember from up above, we're gonna, in our batches, we actually have extra terms right here, like ABC Electric, the seed keyword, plus the throwaway terms. We're gonna wind up with another 1,000 searches for the keyword only plus the throwaway terms. And that's a pretty good estimate. So on a campaign where you needed 100 completed searches for each keyword, that would yield 2,000 searches per month that need to be completed to give you a successful an amount of search activity that we believe would be successful in changing Google-related searches. So that's $1,000 a month paid to workers just for the search activity, and then $150 to my assistant to manage your campaign. And what she does is she completely looks for places to do recruiting. She creates all these spreadsheets. She emails them out, answers questions, collects them at the end of the month, gets everything ready for payment, and completely manages the campaign, makes it easier for me so that I can focus on the big picture. Okay, so the number of people that we would need to implement this campaign, it's an average of 1.6 searches per day, positive searches. And the way I came up with that, if you go back here again, so if you randomly receive either batch 1, batch 2, or batch 3 on any one day, on batch 1 you get 1 keyword. On batch 2 you're getting 2 keywords. On batch 3 you're getting 2 keywords. So if you do the math and you divide, so that's 5 keywords over 3 days, it's 1.6. So one worker would receive an average of 1.6 searches per day. And then I said 20 days per month. And the reason I said that is because we try to get most of our lists out at the beginning of the month, but we're constantly recruiting. We're constantly having people who don't do searches every day, which is fine. That's good. We actually like that. It's more diversity. And we also run into cases where we add a new client on the 5th of the month or the 10th of the month or even later, and so we don't even get a full 20. So this is just a pretty good average based on our experience. So one worker would search on average in a month 32 keywords. So if we're trying to reach a quota of 1,000 positive searches for you, divided by 32 keywords per day, we need 31.25 people to execute the strategy. And then at $10 per person, I took the high end here, $10 per person to recruit, that's $312.50 in monthly recruiting costs. And recruiting is important because that's part of also not leaving a footprint. People tend to come and go. They might do it for a month and then not want to do it again. That's one reason. Another reason is we simply want more and more people. I mean, in a perfect world, we would have thousands of people creating these searches for you, but we just don't have that size of a network yet. We're currently around 100 to 150 people. So that brings the total cost to implement the campaign to, it's $1,000 for the workers for the search activity, $150 paid to my assistant, $150 for recruiting. And what I'm going to do here is share the cost of recruiting with you, because I understand that we'll have multiple clients, and then once we have somebody, we have them. We don't need to recruit them again. We just need to manage them. So that brings us to a total of $1,300 a month. And I would recommend, a 6-month campaign to adequately see whether or not this works. So you see, it gets pretty expensive, and that doesn't include any kind of bonus for me if we're successful. And of course, that will be negotiable. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. Again, the most important thing is that we're just trying to create something that looks natural. And I know that from doing this over time, in order to make something look natural, we need as many people as possible performing as few searches as possible. And in the case with Google-related searches, it's important that those searches occur sequentially, and that's what really makes this challenging. So if this is something that you'd like to participate in, I would love to talk to you further about implementing it. Obviously, we'd love to crack this algorithm once and for all. And I can be reached at 503-890-6663. Thank you.